Hello and welcome back to TX3 Productions. No, I can do this. I can do this. All right. Hey guys. Hey everybody and welcome back to TX3 Productions. And today we're sort of doing a tradition here where I look back at the last year and I talk about how it went. 2023 will go down in infamy here at TX3. So, part of this video will be to explain where I've been. And another part of this is just cathartic release where I just want to get things off my chest. So if you're up for that, stay tuned and it'll give you a little behind the scenes of why the hell I haven't uploaded anything in a very, very long time. And then, I'll definitely end it on a higher note than last year's. So heading into 2023, let's get happy now, okay? There is a new series that I would like to start. I do hope to continue its series, so why the hell not? I am going to be podcasting with my wife all throughout 2023. Podcasting with Chaos Legion Gaming. I want to get back to reviewing. Reviewing was part of... That's all I can do right now. That's all I can do for 2023. Cross my fingers. I thought I was ending on a happy note. Whew! I watched last year's 2022 to kind of get ready for this 2023. I wanted to make sure I wasn't rehashing certain things by accident. So I wanted to make sure, okay, had this happened yet? Had this happened yet? Oh my God, had this happened yet? And so 2023 started bad, okay? So I went back and I checked. I uploaded the year of 2022, and the literal next day is I think the beginning of the snowball that made 2023 just so bad from a content creating standpoint, but also it was very personal as well. So the day after I uploaded my 2022 video is when I started breaking my ties with Chaos Legion Gaming. Chaos Legion Gaming, I did a podcast with awesome lady, J-Dubs. We had so much fun doing it, and she's like one of the nicest people I've ever met, and I just really enjoyed my time with her, and I would have loved to keep going with it. Some things came out. I'm not going to get into super deep like this. I'm not going to necessarily spill the tea, but I'm also not going to hold back, but I'm also not going to go 100%. So if any of that makes sense. Basically, J-Dubs came to me in confidence and told me about what the leader of Chaos Legion Gaming had been doing, and it's nothing horrible. So sorry if I've set the story up to maybe be like SA or something, nothing like that. No. But no, she had informed me what he had been doing, and the best way to put it without putting anybody's laundry out for them, the best way to put it is that person who led Chaos Legion Gaming was given certain promises. Certain things he was doing was basically trying to incentivize people to join the group for a particular reason. That reason involved my friend J-Dubs, and it wasn't true, and so she felt used. She felt betrayed. This person was telling stuff about her that just wasn't true, giving other people unrealistic expectations of the work that she would be doing for the group. But the leader made those promises in ways of enticing people onto the group, and that was just not right. And again, he did this to a person that is just one of the nicest people I've ever met. You know, and to do that, you know, just manipulation, I was not okay with. And me and her kind of on the same day were like, no, screw this. I don't want to do this anymore. We weren't getting a ton. Like, we were hoping it would go somewhere. We were hoping that, like, oh, we could build this into something. But there was a certain, like, we weren't really getting the satisfaction out of it anyways. And so once I found that out, I was just like, no, if anything, you were the thing keeping me here. Well, you and someone else that had been with me for a while as far as content creating, and they were a big fan, and, you know, so that was kind of a main reason. But then it was still just like the association with this other person who led Chaos Legion Gaming. Like, I was just not okay with it. I was not okay keeping that association. And unfortunately, that meant losing that other person as a friend, as a colleague. And that really sucked. That was a sacrifice that I had to make because of my moral standings and everything. So that was the day after my 2022 video went up. It was just over the next couple weeks was that unfolding and all the emotions that followed with that. January came, and I tried. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a video every day. And even if it is just a silly video of a silly TikTok of me holding the phone, you know, like, hey guys, how's it going? Just, you know, updating you for the day, you know, like, and I tried that. I think I got like 4 days in, and, you know, I got like 4 days in, and a lot of the stuff from that I just mentioned was compacting and the emotions and everything. And then it was also going to be my birthday soon, and always around my birthday I get super depressed. I start thinking, oh, I'm this old. Other people this old, yada, yada, yada. It's nothing you could do. Like, you could be in a good place in your life, but then that little thing called depression is just like, hey, guess what? It's not that good. Screw you, depression. Anyways, so that really sucked. But I tried to start the year off good. You know, in the 2022 video, I talked about how I lost Nate as a friend. Like, he kind of just stopped talking to me, and I didn't know what happened, you know? And so I tried to move on with a guy named Mike. He is my wife's sister's husband. And we tried to start doing stuff, me and him or whatever. And the original plan was we were actually going to move into a new place with them, and we were going to get a nice big place so that there could be enough room for them, but also me, my wife, and our 2 kids. And so that was the plan. And so I was super excited. I was super pumped because it was basically going to be like, oh, I'm going to have like a content house, in a manner of speaking, you know. Now, if a new news story came up and we wanted to talk about it, it would be as easy as, hey, Mike, this just happened. Would you like to talk about it? Yeah? Okay, let's go. And even if he didn't want to talk about it, but he was there and he was home, he could help me out with like the camera and the microphone, and he could just be the behind the scenes guy or whatever. And that was kind of the plan. They decided to go live with someone else. One of their friends, was in a situation where basically they were going to lose their house, or if they didn't get some financial help. And so they went to live with them because they needed the help. And unfortunately, while admirable for them, it put us in a situation where it was like, oh, well, now it's awkward because it's like, oh, well, we were going to make content, but now you have to come over to my house to make content. And it was also just emotional because I had a dream job as a game tester. I started a job as a game tester, and I was really excited, and it was a moment of my life that I, it was a moment of my life where I felt like I was finally doing something with purpose, and it was something I was searching for a really long time. When they backed out of moving in with us, it kind of put us in a financial situation where it was like, at the time, I had to have my littlest in daycare in order for me to have this job. If we didn't have her in daycare, I couldn't have the job. And now that we weren't going to have, roommates at a new place, paying $200+ a week on daycare made less sense. It was a situation where like I couldn't justify the daycare anymore, because now if we wanted to get a place that was better than the one we had, I needed to put as much money of the money I'm making into that versus daycare. Because $2 something a month, it was like $215, I guess, a month is, $840 or $860, right? Dollars towards daycare that just is less justifiable when you don't have as much financial stability or whatever. So that really sucked. So I had to quit my dream job, or a dream job. Maybe it wasn't the dream job, but I had to quit my dream job. This sent me into a massive, massive depression. I think one of the worst I've ever had. I've had one of the worst panic attacks I've ever had. Basically, I would try to go to sleep, and if I would drift off to sleep, I would suddenly wake up thinking that I was dying. And so I stayed up all night long. Maybe I would have gotten 5-10 minutes sleep at a time, but I would jerk awake and be like, oh, I'm dying. I'm dying right now. So needless to say, it didn't work out with another person. So it was a 1-2-3 knockout. 1, Nate, 2, Chaos Legion, and then 3, Mike, plus everything that entailed with him, the job, the new place. It was bad. It was bad. And so on top of that, making content didn't feel right. Didn't feel good anymore. And I think it's because I got to a certain place where for years I had been making content, and if I needed to record something, I basically either had to wait for nobody, like now, nobody to be around, or I had to wait for everybody to go to bed. Which also meant that, like, if I wanted to get, like, really loud and, like, really frustrated, like, why would this game do this thing that I didn't like? I couldn't do that because I'd have to worry about the kids going to sleep. And so now with 2 kids, like, it made it even more like there was a baby, and can I be as animated? So it got to this point where it's like I didn't even want to do the things I wanted to do because I was worried. And so then it became about, well, when we get a new place, I'll make myself a little office so I can make content there. And so then months turned into a whole year where, like, finally now we are in a position where we're going to be moving in February to a new place. And so that's great, but it's like it still took a whole year for that to really happen. While that year was happening, just some other fun stuff. One of my best friends from high school passed away unexpectedly. It was one of those situations where it had been years. It had been years since I've even talked to him. And so a lot of guilt, a lot of like, well, what if I would have talked to him? What if I XYZ, so there was a lot of that to deal with. I'm better now, and it's like I'll have the guilt at all times, but it's not like the guilt is suffocating. It's just like, hey, that really sucks, but life goes on. Let's learn from it. Let's take the unfortunate passing and let's try to at least make something good out of it. Let's try to make a change out of it. And that's all I really could do to like keep myself from going mad. So that's all the negative. I got all the negative out of the way so that hopefully I can focus on the positive. And the positive is I made a New Year's resolution last year that I was going to work on my tabletop game and I was going to get it ready for launch. It hasn't launched yet, but it is ready for launch. So it's like, I did my New Year's resolution. Okay. So my tabletop is basically, what if Mario Kart or Crash Team Racing was a tabletop game? I was able to go get it play tested by several people. And then I actually went to a gaming convention here in Boise, the Gem State Gaming Convention. And so I had a table set up there. And so I had upwards of maybe by the end I had, I think, 50 total from, personal friends to people at a game night that I went to the Gem State Gaming Convention itself. I think in all I had about 50 people, 50 different people play test the game. And luckily, overwhelmingly positive feedback as far as like, oh, I really love this. I really love that. A good sign was that a lot of the, not really complaints, but a lot of the feedback or constructive criticism was really kind of nitpicky, but not in a bad way. Like, oh my God, this little thing, like you're stupid. No, it was more like this little thing you should probably change. And that was good for me. I actually felt good about that feedback because that meant the core of the game itself, the systems that I had created were solid. So it was really just about the fine details. And that made me feel so relieved. It's this huge, like it felt so good. It felt so good that so many people really enjoyed my game. And it wasn't just that they enjoyed it. It's like they actually really got it. They got that it was supposed to be Mario, but and they said, at least in passing and whatnot, they said that it felt like Mario Kart. There are plenty of other kind of like tabletop racing games, and at least 3, 4, 5, maybe even more people told me that compared to those games, this one feels the most like what a Mario Kart would feel like on a table. And I'm like, yes, freaking got him. So 2023, as many negatives as there were, the biggest positive is that I actually kind of hunkered down and I really started working on my tabletop. And I've made, new cards for them. And so they have like a new power-up system and stuff. It's really fun. And it's not just me saying that. Like before it was just like, oh my God, wouldn't this be a fun idea? But then I put it onto literal paper, onto cards, and I showed it to people. And those people were like, what the hell? This is really cool. And I thought to myself that nobody else was making a game quite like this and that would give me the edge. Hearing that same sentiment, maybe not those same words, but hearing that same sentiment from other people who are at a Gem State Gaming Convention. This isn't gaming as in like video games. This is gaming as in board games. These are people who play board games. These are people who have probably an entire bookcase of games and board games and card games and, so much stuff. And they're telling me that I have hit the nail right on the head. And I'm like the relief, especially after the year I've been having, the relief that gave me it made the break that I had been taking from content creating, it made that break feel so worth it because it feels so good. So 2024 is hopefully going to be a lot better for a couple of main reasons. Number one, like I said before, I will be moving into a new place. And we're specifically getting a place that has either a bonus room or a fourth room, and that will specifically be Daddy's office. And so I will do content from there. I will do my editing there. And it'll be a nice little separate thing from everything else, right? Like it'll be a nice little separate thing that I can start putting out content. And hopefully just get a new appreciation for making content in the first place, because I've had a really long time to sit, marinate, and I definitely feel, especially over the last couple of months, I definitely feel this drive to be like, okay, I think I'm ready. I think I want to return to this. And so the move has been really exciting because it's really like when we move, it's going to be like a new chapter. Every year for TX3 Productions, we've done something similar where I've been like, hey, here's the year that I've had. Here's the year that I hope to have. And every time, unfortunately, I feel like it hasn't really gone the way I wanted it to go. And now maybe it's because of my old age, but I do feel like I'm setting my expectations a little bit better. I've already set up this nice little tabletop that I know is good because I've had people tell me I have it set up. It's ready. It's on the tee and it's just waiting for that toddler to whack it. So it's set up. It's ready to go. And now it's just about the Kickstarter. Let's get some advertisements out and things like, let's make it a good launch. Right. And so that's ready to go. And then having an office and having a space away from everybody where it's like, okay, like the place we live in right now is so small that either I have to kick everyone out of the living room, which is what I'm in right now, or I have to go back secluded in our room. But if I'm in our room, they can't go to bed. So they would have to be at a time of day where, and it just never worked out. It seemed like there was always times where it didn't work out. So it's like now at least having my own room where it's specifically for this, I do feel like I'm going to be able to get a lot more done. And so, yeah, for those two, main reasons, a new place and, a new sort of drive as far as, so, I mean, I will be giving out more updates on my tabletop. I will not in this video, but maybe in a future video, I'll put the subscription for whatever channel that I have for that. It's not quite ready, so it is more like I'm trying to get the move before I start packing on a new freaking channel. But there will be a new channel dedicated to the tabletop itself, and so yeah, look forward to that. So yeah, 2023 sucked for so many reasons. Losing one of my friends from high school, it was the biggest one, but there's other stuff in my professional life that just made it like, okay, it's time to take a break. But I do feel confident that now I've taken that break. I feel like we're going to do something different. And again, I feel like I've said that every year, but I feel a little bit more helpful this time around. I feel like it was always wishful thinking, and now, I don't know. It really is that positivity that I've gotten back from my tabletop game. It's really that driving me forward. And so for that reason, there might not be a ton of content, especially until we move, but it's still like, ooh, it's going to get me going. I definitely know. So, hey, if you're wondering what the hell happened to me in 2022 and why I didn't upload at all, now the tea has been spilt, and now you know. So 2024, just
Come on. Come on, man. Come on. Just do better, 2024. Do